The other day I was misinformed. I thought the great Patrick Wood we had his demise. We did not. He had gotten ill, but turns out he turned it around. Patrick Wood joins us. Patrick, the reason that you were back in the discussion is everything that you've taught us about technocracy, and particularly one of the guys that took that radical idea from the 1930s when it was developed under FDR and with these technocrats and really kind of drove it forward. That was Dr. Brzezinski, this new book out with Ed Luce. Talk to us about it. Talk to us about technocracy. Well, first off, how are you doing? Everybody welcomes you back and it wants to ensure there. I was actually shocked when somebody said, I think it was Joe Allen said, hey, Patrick's alive and well. So how are you doing?
I'm really doing good, Steve. We have a lot of followers in common, and I got texts telling me that I was dead. And so it's like, well, I think I'm still here, but I did have a
Lazarus.
Welcome to Technocracy News, Patrick.
You bet. I had fun on Saturday with Steve for sure. He was good natured for sure. I was too. At first I was a little bit ticked, but it turned out really cool. And Steve has kind of welcomed me back. Now I know why he never had me back on a show for the last 2 years. Because he thought I was dead.
Yeah, I know. I know you had mentioned before that you hadn't been on there in a while, but now that explains it.
It does. Oh, that's really something. Well, hopefully I'll get another shot to talk about technocracy. And I have, we should show that article that showed up in Gateway Pundit as well. And this article was talking about what I was talking about to Steve, that the exponential rise of AI is going to take over. It's going to eat the world at some point, because from now till Trump gets out of office, AI is going to increase by at least 10,000, maybe as much as 16,000 times. That's inconceivable. We can't even comprehend what that means, but it's going to be serious. And oh boy, we're in for a ride.
Yeah,
we really are.
Yeah, and you have a. Go ahead.
Well, I had to check the math again because I opened my mouth on national TV, right? I went and checked the math again. Anybody can, just like I did it. But the high boundary is probably 16,000 plus times from now to when Trump gets out of office.
16,000 times?
That's right. Probably the lower bound is maybe 10,000 times.
That's still, I mean, can you imagine 10,000 times what it's at now?
I know.
Can you imagine 100 times what it's at now? I mean.
Yes. Gosh. Yes, I know. So we're talking orders of magnitude at this point. It's like over the top.
Yeah. And like we've said many times, we've talked about how the goal for this can't be just to be a chat bot and ask questions. And you got one of the leading AI chatbots to admit it to you, didn't you?
I really did.
It's not for chatting. It's for control. It's for administration.
Yes. Let's just look at that article. I just wrote this yesterday.
AI's prime directive, stunning realization from ChatGPT itself. And in it, you were basically asking, you were having a conversation with ChatGPT, and you were asking, what is the prime directive, the prime, mission of AI? And it was saying that it's not for knowledge. It's not for basically a wealth of knowledge for people to come in and ask. It's mainly for controlling data and putting data to use, correct?
Exactly. And I started this discussion only wanting to find out, well, what are the functional issues with AI in the first place? And only one thing came up as static. All the rest of it was about flows of things and control of things. And that just really, well, I don't get shocked by this stuff for sure, but it prompted me to ask, well, all we're hearing about in the news is about the research. You know, scientists are getting research assistants, programmers are writing code, and I'm doing research, you know, on topics relating to technocracy. And all the hype is about that kind of stuff, not about the control issues, right? And so when I asked the question, well, what is the prime directive of AI? Then ChatGPT spilled its guts.
Yeah.
It just blew me away.
Yep. And if we go to what it said, the question you just asked, would you say the prime directive for AI is live flow data analysis? And then ChatGPT responds, at its most powerful and strategic, AI exists not to archive knowledge, but to act upon the world in real time. This aligns it more with control system than mere analytics. In technocratic logic, knowledge is only as valuable as its immediate utility in managing systems, whether ecological, social, economic, or mechanical. So what it's saying is the reason it's collecting all this data is not to store it and be a researching tool. It is to store it and learn from it to then be able to control these systems that were once not controlled by AI. I mean,
yes,
that's pretty much it.
Exactly. And we've talked about this in other words, you know, other terms, I'm sure. But at this point, wow, the ChatGPT came out flat out and said it.
Yeah.
This is stunning to me. And at this point, where is ChatGPT getting its information from? It didn't make this up from scratch for sure. And I can't honestly tell you how it synthesized all the information that it had to come up with this conclusion. But it clearly, whatever it was, clearly this is what's on the mind of the technocrats who were doing this in the first place. And all of this hype about, oh, it's going to make life so easier for you. You can find out anything you want to know. And, you know, if you're a researcher, you can get molecular structures or whatever. And, you know, that's all bunk at this point, just out the window. Because what the technocrats are thinking about, they're not thinking about serving us with static of knowledge. They are thinking about the flows of data and how to control them. Period. And all the rest is hype. You never, for instance, you don't see Eric Schmidt talking about this when he says that AI is going to escape control of humans. You never hear one word about the flow of data. But why not?
Yeah. And this also explains why all these billionaires are competing and pushing and fighting to be the number one in the AI space, because whoever does it first gets control of all this data and the flow of this data.
That's right. How many AI programs have to, for instance, get access to government data at this point? You think they're all going to just come in and get their own slice of the data or take all of the data? Well, what's the point of that? If one AI comes in, whatever it is, could OpenAI, Grok, Anthropic, it doesn't matter. But whoever gets to the trough first, there's no need for any more AI at that point, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, so the race is on at this point to get the fire hose, if you will, plugged in to the streams of data so they can manage.
Yep. And then you're going to need a huge computer system, a huge mega computer, supercomputer, to then go through and control this data, which is exactly what Elon's doing. And I think he's probably leading the charge in this because he's been so deep inside to be able to get this data. And now he's adding on to his Memphis, down the street, his Memphis supercomputer, which is Colossus. Now has Colossus 2.0. I saw a picture yesterday where they're bringing in hundreds of Tesla power packs to run this thing.
Oh, incredible. Yeah, it's going to get, and they're expanding at this point, as you know, to build additional facilities to hook it all together in a even larger data center. This crazy. Well, here's what the big kicker on this whole discussion with ChatGPT. We need to pick this up after the break too. But here's the bottom line. When it says in the emerging paradigm of technocratic governance, its prime directive is not thought, it's flow. If it's not, it is not reflection, it is regulation. It's not memory, it's momentum. Let's break this down after the break.
Yep, we'll be back here in 2 minutes.
Better science leads to better outcomes. So by understanding the science in much more intimate detail, delivering a value product that is so different from anybody else.
So when we're stepping outside into seasonal changes, low humidity, sunlight, pollution, all of these things get communicated as stress on the top layer of skin that produces free radicals, and they're bad news for collagen networks. They're going to break down the collagen network and collapse that beautiful tensile strength of your skin. And so that's how we end up with fine lines and wrinkles. Bella Grace is really an elevated formula.
Better than the competition for very obvious reasons. First of all, we're delivering great collagen. We're delivering Verisol, which is the world's most studied form of collagen. So we're starting at a foundation that's really top notch.
So here is a lady today. She's taking the elixir, arthritis in her hands. She could not close her hands and make a fist. But after now being on the elixir, now she can.
The real breakthrough discovery, particularly with the cat's claw, is a switch that regulates genes. There's thousands of genes that are involved in that inflammation process. When you have chronic inflammation, the problem is the switch is on and it's not being turned off. And so what's happening with the cat's claw is that it removes that little protein switch off your DNA, and the genes go back to a dormant state, and you go back to being, well, really healthy.
When at first we wanted to just have an amazing collagen ingestible product to be able to set the skin up so that my wife, Christina, could come behind that with incredible skincare. And that's exactly what we're still doing. What we weren't anticipating was the magnitude and just the vast amount of benefits that this elixir was going to do for people. Testimonies started flooding back in. About probably 30% of the testimonies were about hair, skin, and nails. The others were about people being able to walk up their stairs again, people being able to open their hands in the morning without having to do heat therapy, people being able to sleep better, athletes before and after recovery, and the energy levels that people were having. So we realized that this is so much more than just a collagen ingestible product, which it certainly is that at the highest of levels. We've even had so many people in the health and wellness world say this is legitimately, Brian, the number one, the best health and wellness product that's ever been introduced. And I would say probably the only negative here with Bella Grace and this elixir is that it sounds too good to be true, but it really is true.
Bella Grace Elixir, a scientific breakthrough with over 80 clinical trials. Visit melissahousebg.com to discover Bella Grace Elixir and the full range of Bella Grace products.
Welcome back to Technocracy News. You left off talking about your article where you had the conversation with ChatGPT, and it's talking about the main purpose of AI, and it's saying its prime directive is not thought, it's flow, it's not reflection, it's regulation, it is not memory, it's momentum. You want to pick up on what your analysis of this is? What is it trying to say?
Exactly. It piqued my interest for sure. What do you mean? So I ask it, what do you mean by this? To explain yourself, right? And here's what it came up with. This is not my text here. This is ChatGPT's explanation. AI's prime directive is not thought, it is flow. Now listen to this. This means AI, particularly in its real-world deployment, is not primarily built to think like a philosopher, a scientist, or even a reflective human. Its core utility lies in managing, shaping, and regulating continuous flows of data, information flows, energy flows, traffic flows, behavior flows. The goal isn't deep contemplation. It is frictionless optimization in motion. This is profound, in my opinion. Then it says, okay, it is not reflection, it is regulation. Rather than engaging in self-awareness or reflective deliberation like a human mind or democratic institution might, AI is designed to regulate systems, adjusting variables to maintain order, efficiency, and sustainability, where we had heard that before. This reflects the cybernetic origins of AI, sensors, feedback loops, automated corrections. Its nature is instrumental, not introspective. Okay, well, next, it is not memory, it is momentum. Although AI uses memory, databases, archives, large training sets, etc., its power is exercised in the now, driving real-time responsiveness. In contrast to human memory, which fuels narrative, identity, and reflection, AI uses data as fuel for perpetual movement. In other words, momentum. It generates nudges, adjustments, interventions, not wisdom or continuity. The goal is motion through systems, not through the preservation of history. Oh boy. And then the triad, it says the triad captures a key insight. In its dominant social role, AI does not serve humanistic ends, thought, reflection, and memory. It serves technocratic ends, flow, regulation, and momentum.
Wow. Did you
Wow.
mention technocracy to it at all before this?
It was, my session was informed by several documents that I uploaded to ChatGPT in the first place. My subscription allows me to do that. And so the discussions that I have can be somewhat informed by the documents that I uploaded. So for instance, I uploaded the book Technocracy Rising and The Hard Road. I didn't do my latest book, but nevertheless, I uploaded several papers that I had as well.
Uh-huh.
So it was somewhat informed by my writings, but nevertheless, I didn't specify exactly what it had to say. That's for sure. And at this point, I say the cat is out of the bag. And this is out of I think the phrase out of the mouth of babes.
So basically what it's saying here, like you've been saying, is the goal, instead of being for answering questions and being a researching tool, it's for running systems. Like you have down here, for example, all of these government organizations with huge data flows, which will be using AI to operate.
This is where Doge went first. They went first to DHS and FEMA. And this list is in order of how I sifted this list separately. I wanted to ask, well, so where did Doge go first and second and third and fourth, et cetera? Well, this is how the thing played out. And so eventually, after number 4, it got to the Social Security Administration, and then Department of Education, then the Department of Defense. How about the IRS? Wow. Okay, so all of these things have been hooked up to AI at this point to provide their data on a continuous basis. Now, that wasn't just a static snapshot that they made. They hooked the fire hose into the whole system, and now AI, whoever's, I don't know exactly which AI it is, but we know Grok is in it. We know OpenAI is in it as well. But whoever has that fire hose at this point, all this data has been being pumped into AI in the cloud.
Yeah, and if you
on a continuous basis,
how do you know they were using AI? That's how they were finding all this fraud, was with AI. They were using the AI to search through all the data of these organizations, of these departments, in order to find the fraud. But that might not have been really the purpose of using the AI.
Of course, they only needed to go back, for instance, maybe 12 months of history of records, and then continue with the new information that's coming out from the system. So, of course, they're going to vacuum up anything they can behind the date today, but going forward, they have all the data. Mm-hmm. This is why the whole thing was from Doge was just, well, it was basically just an operation of theft, data theft. At this point, nobody asked for this in the public for sure. Nobody wanted to have, and even Congress had no clue what was going on. They didn't see this coming.
Yep.
And if there was any audit, by the way, that has come up from Doge about how much money they saved for the taxpayer, we haven't had that. Nobody has a clue at this point how much money really they've saved. They promised at least $1 trillion from in the beginning, right?
Yep.
It's nowhere close to that. And nobody knows for sure specifically what has been saved in the process. No audit is going to be coming forth from this. But in the meantime, all the data went missing. I said this in the beginning. The value is in the data, not in the savings. Even if Doge could result in $1 trillion of savings for us, the value of this data far exceeds $1 trillion. And in the hands of the AI systems at this point, it'll be the gift that gives continuously in the future.
What does it mean for the average American that the data is all, that AI has control of all this data?
How will that
impact the average person?
You'll see it when you sense the control mechanism surrounding you with a situation you can't get out of, and you'll see other people screaming too.
Yeah.
When they get caught in the net, if you will. But it's coming at this point. It probably will take maybe 6 months to 9 months to work this out, to where you feel the effects of what this has done to our country. But it's coming, guaranteed at this point.
Yep. And they're basically going to be running. They're basically going to be running all these organizations. Whoever gets control of this data and whoever wins the race, which looks like Elon, will basically have control of the government and all of our data. Every citizen. I mean, you know how much personal information they would have of each person with each of these organizations. I mean,
yes. Who do you think is going to be able to control these systems? Is it going to be the technicians that existed before, or do you have to have super intelligent technicians, technocrats, running the system continuously, who will have their hand on the throttle? Well, this means going forward then that there's going to be no ability to retrieve that system unless you break the system down and throw out the technocrats running it and basically unplug it.
Yep, and there will basically be no oversight onto what happens with the data, because the number of people who will be able to sift through these systems is so few. I mean,
yes,
other than the people who are going to be running on there's not many people who will be capable of going through these systems.
I know. We could talk about this for an hour for sure, but we're out of time. Oh my.
All right. Well, we'll be back on Thursday with a new episode.
Yes, indeed.
You got anything you want to say to close this out?
No, I don't. God bless you people.
Take care.
You bet.
True beauty isn't applied. It's nourished from within. Bella Grace Elixir, a luxurious, scientifically crafted blend designed to restore radiance, vitality, and strength at a cellular level. At the heart of Bella Grace Elixir lies cat's claw, a powerful herb from the Amazon known for its ability to control inflammation and protect collagen. With Verisol collagen peptides, it goes beyond the surface, stimulating your body's natural collagen production to reduce fine lines, improve skin elasticity, and promote real, visible change. Bella Grace Elixir doesn't stop at collagen. It includes astaxanthin, one of nature's most powerful antioxidants. 6,000 times stronger than vitamin C, astaxanthin protects your skin from harmful UV rays and environmental stress, while locking in hydration and promoting a radiant, youthful glow. Experience the power of nature with Bella Grace Elixir at melissahousebg.com. Discover the science behind Bella Grace Elixir at melissahousebg.com. Read powerful testimonials from doctors and real customers who've experienced life-changing results, and explore other wellness products from Bella Grace. Bella Grace Elixir is more than just a product. It's a solution. Visit melissahousebg.com today.